In this demo, we're going to take a look at how Azure Policy helps you drive consistency across Kubernetes clusters in your organization. Specifically, we're going to take a look at how an Azure Policy helps make sure that your AKS HCI cluster pods have specified labels. Let's take a look. To create an Azure Policy, navigate to the resource group that contains your ARC connected AKS HCI cluster, as you can see over here, and then click on Policies. As you can see on the screen, I already have a lot of Azure policies that have been created by my subscription admin to enforce on any resources and resource groups that are under the subscription. So let's go to Assign Policy and create our very own Kubernetes Azure policy. So as I was talking about the scope before, the scope determines the purview of this policy over resources. So for this demo, I've limited the scope to the subscription/resource group. So all ARC connected Kubernetes clusters under this resource group will have to adhere to the policy we're going to create now. The exclusions define if you want to exclude any resources even under this resource group. I'm not going to choose that. And then finally, let's come to the policy definition. So let's click on search and let's search by label. So this is the policy we're going to be creating today. Kubernetes cluster pods should use specified labels. Click on select. And then as you can see over here, the policy enforcement is enabled, and then click on next. So over here, you have to select a list of labels that you want to make sure are there on every pod that's deployed on your AKS HCI cluster. So I'm going to choose two labels. The first one is user, and the second one is version. Once you've defined which labels you want to make sure are present, click on save, and then you can click on review and create. Now this policy will take about 30 minutes to be in the compliant state, and then we'll test to make sure that it works as required. As you can see over here, the policy is now in a compliant state. This means that the policy is running on all resources under this resource group. So let's go to our Kubernetes cluster and check this policy in action. So this is my YAML file that I will be applying on my Kubernetes cluster. So as you can see over here, it has a name, and I'm going to add a namespace that I've already created on my cluster, but it does not have any labels yet. So I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to go to my cluster and run kubectl apply. As you can see over here, it returns an error saying that these labels must be provided. This is exactly what I passed in my policy. So let's try adding these labels to my app and then try running it again. So I'm going to add the labels. So which are the labels they need? They need user and version. So user. I'm going to add a version. It should now work. So let's go back and run kubectl apply again. And the pod have been created. So to check, you can run kubectl get pods in the dev namespace, and your app is running.